What's up, guys? Matty here at mixandmastermysong.com. Today's going to be the first of a series of videos I'm going to be doing on mixing 2-track beats with vocals. A lot of you guys, you've asked me about this, so I figured it'd be a good time to start doing them. The series part of it is I'm going to do it with different plugin brands. So this won't be the only time you see me mix this song. I'm going to mix it with Waves, Plugin Alliance, McDSP maybe. I'm not sure all the ones I'm going to do, probably Slate. But this one's going to be Waves, so I'm only going to be using Waves plugins. That way, if you have Waves at home, you guys can kind of follow along and maybe use some of these techniques in your mixes at home. So hopefully this will help you guys out when you're mixing. Let's get it going. All right, guys, so we are mixing our good friend Meekins' song, Say Something. If you're following along in the mastering series, I'm actually mastering this song too, so we're using this a lot in the next couple weeks here. But what we'll do is we'll just take a listen to it. As you can see, there is no plugins on anything, and that's just the way we got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys hear a little half a verse or something just so you can hear it dry, and then we'll get it going. And we'll also listen to Cam's reference mix, which he sent over as well. So here's just the song dry, no effects, no nothing.
I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out a class, yeah.
Here's the hook right here.
Yeah, hey. I just do it for the art, I do it for the soul. Think about the future for us, hoping we can grow. Say so, say so, say so.
And then now I'll just play you guys the reference. So this is how Cam had mixed it. It's really important a lot of times to listen to the reference that an artist gives you, because they've been listening to a mix a certain way for months, however long they've been working on the song. And if you go way far out different than what they want, it can really become an issue. So let's check this out really quick, just so we can hear an idea of the difference.
Yeah, hey. I just do it for the art, I do it for the soul. Think about the future for us, hoping we can grow. Say so, say so, say so. I always knew it from the start, I gotta let them know. I got you on whatever, I just hope that we can grow. Yeah. Say so, say so, say so. Yeah.
So you can see I was soloing it on and off, just so you can kind of hear the difference. It's not a huge difference, but there is a hell of a lot more presence and energy to his reference vocal, which we're gonna have to get back in our mix. So the first thing I do, and it's a little backwards, is I get the master track going. I want to start off at close to the level of the final mix, so that when I'm mixing, I'm pushing into the limiter, I'm pushing into stuff on the master channel. So shameless plug here, what I'm gonna pull up are some of my Waves presets, which you can get on my site. But I'm going to use the Wave mastering presets. I'm going to use the 808 Rap Master. And so that's going to load that right up there. Then I got to put my pipeline back on, because that way you guys can hear the actual music, which is helpful when we're doing these videos. All right, so what this does is this adds a bunch of plugins. Like I said, it's from my preset package. And it has a VU and NLS bus and the Puig and R compressor, Center, Vitamin, and L2 all on it. I'm going to go through these in a second. And what this does, this just gets us to like a mastering level really quick, and makes everything sound better too. So let me just play this with it on and off so you guys can hear this.
Yeah, yeah. I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'm a...
So pretty big difference right there. I'm going to bring this L2 down so I don't bust you guys' ears out, but you can see.
Yeah. I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine.
Taking off like the threshold's like 2 to 3 dB reduction there.
Yeah. I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons.
And what I always do is the VU, the way I have these chains set up, is supposed to hit around 0. It doesn't have to hit exactly 0, but if you see we hit play.
Yeah. I've been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to.
So we could push it a little more, but what will happen once I get mixing, it will probably push a little more anyway. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Then I got this NLS bus just to give it a little drive, a little bit of a like saturation, warmth to it. The Puig Tech, just with a little bit of EQ, a little boost at 16K and a little boost around 100. The R compressor, ratio 1.5, very, very little. It's only taking 2 or 3 dB off. Yeah. As you can see there. The center, this just boosts the size a little bit. I'm actually going to turn this off for now. And then lastly, we have Vitamin, which gives it a little more saturation, a little more presence, and just kind of gives the overall mix a little more energy. Like to use that for this sometimes. So that's that. So now we already have our master sounding good, and so we're pushing through it when we go to mix. Next, I want to check out this beat and just see what we can do to it to maybe give it a little more energy. So what I like to use on 2-track beats sometime is the CLA mix down, because it does a couple things. It gives you a little more saturation, a little glue with compression, and then it has a high treble and bass, which is super simple, but sometimes that's all you really need. Then I'll bring these down. So let's play it, and I'll just start tweaking this to fit. So there's that, just a little bit, barely touching the compression. It's just kind of pulling the thing together. We add a little bit more bass just to help it punch through a bit more. Now, this 2-track sounds fairly good. Sometimes if you have a really bad 2-track and there's like a whole lot of bass, which happens a lot, I'll actually duplicate the 2-track and filter it differently so that I can kind of control the bass more than the treble and so forth. Luckily, we don't have to do that with this. It sounds fairly clean. We're going to leave it as is. Next, we're going to go to vocals. And so here's the verse. I'm going to solo it up.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine.
And we're going to do the same thing we did with the master, is use my presets, which you can get. And we're just going to use a dry rap vocal to start things off. Now, I'm going to probably take a lot of this stuff off because we're going to probably do sends or returns. But let's see what this sounds like right out the gate.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time.
Okay, cool. So I like what that's doing so far, except I'm going to turn these EQs off. So we got this little low cut and a little filter here to take out some of the muddy stuff.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but
after that, I'm going to use the RVox. I like this compressor a lot for rap stuff. I'm going to put that after this audio track. So basically what we're doing is we got this filter here, a little bit of EQ, very, very slight compression. It's barely tapping. And then the gate is on slightly just to catch some of the background noise, but we'll use this gate too. And so usually I select both of these, bring these down, and take a couple dB off.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time.
So nice. It pulls the vocal forward. Now sometimes the RVox, while it gives it a great sound, can bring up other stuff we might not want. So I like to use, not the C6, what is that plugin? Let's find it. The Waves F6. Now we're going to put this after our RVox, and what I want to do is there's some mid-range I want to scoop out and some low-end muddy stuff that I kind of want to get out, and I'm going to use dynamic EQ to do that. The reason why I like to do that is sometimes it comes too strong, especially the mid-range and the lower mids, but sometimes it doesn't. So I don't want to just scoop it out and then have a thin vocal or or maybe a muddy vocal, you know, not something without enough presence. I just want it to pull down when it's too much. So that's why I like to use a dynamic EQ for doing this kind of stuff. So let's go to town on this and get out the stuff we don't like.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up.
So there's part of that, and then we're gonna go down here and do the same thing.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing a Benz.
So you can hear it kind of clean that up, right? So then we're gonna hit the de-esser after that. So kind of like what I do is I like to clean things up, and then you'll see we'll start pushing it back, pushing the presence and the high end back in to give it, you know, a good sound.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'm.
Then we're gonna pull up this pop vocal here.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up.
So we're getting there. It's starting to push through nicely the way I want hearing it in my head. I think what we're gonna do though is get another EQ. Let's use an REQ here.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go. Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets.
So there's that. So we're gonna do actually another F6 too. Probably could have just done this with the F6. Probably could have killed this REQ and used the F6, but this is kind of how I do things. I just keep building on it until I get the sound I'm hearing in my head.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin'.
So what I'm hearing is I'm still hearing too much SE brightness that I don't like, because I'm going to boost all that with a CLA after, but I want to get rid of it first in order before I push, you know?
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up.
So that might be helpful there.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they. Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up.
Okay, that's feeling pretty good now. Probably could spend more time with it, but for video's sake, not going to go crazy. Now, the final thing I like to use is the CLA vocal. You can see this is kind of the setting I start with, and this thing just makes vocals sound great. So let's play this and see if we're there.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing them. Been Dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class, I never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends. I spent some time in Hollywood, but I don't be in this mess. How come I've been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind? Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class, I never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class, I never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends.
Cool, so that sounded pretty clean to me now. So that's the main thing of what we're gonna do. And then what I would do is take this, right, and then boom, transfer it to all the other tracks I have, and or create buses and send them that way. Probably more often do that, but since we don't have that many tracks, we can do it this way. And then I'd go through and change these different EQs to fit. So like for instance, on these doubles, I don't want my doubles to sound the same, so I'm going to pull back the compression a bit and pull down the high end a bit. And that might give a little bit of a different sound so that it's not getting in the way of this verse. So let's like now play this with it.
Dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class, I never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends. I spent some time in Hollywood, but I don't be in this mess. How come a lot of dudes preach, but the role's on lease? I'm in the cold till next week, speed town's on freeze. And when I wonder when it's worth it, try and remember that I'm living with this purpose, yeah.
So there we go, so add those doubles. And you can see as I keep mixing, I'm tweaking little things, and hopefully you guys can catch that because it's kind of hard to go through it because I react ear and change. It's hard to go and show you every little tweak I'm doing. But what it is, it's a lot of, sometimes it's too much compression, so I'm trying to pull back. Like right now, I feel like I'm a little over compressed, so I'm trying to push back the compression a bit. Sometimes it's a little too much mid-range, because the mid-range to me is super important because that's where the vocal always fits. So it's constantly a battle of those two. Now, just to throw a couple more things on before we finish up here, let's just throw on our verb. Boom, boom. And a lot of times with rap vocals, a short reverb sounds good.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class, I never listened when they took.
I hope you're gonna hear that at home. It just gives it a thickness to it, but without maybe like really sounding like a reverby sound. Now, this isn't the kind of song that we need the super big reverb sound on, so using a small room sound is fitting for a song like that. It's kind of laid back, old school kind of sound. And then a lot of times I'll put like a 32 note or a 16th note, depending, and you can do a ping pong or whatnot. And always, always, always turn analog off. It's already set in my Studio One to be off, but make sure you turn that off if you're using it at home, because that just can kill a mix. It's too much.
Been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16.
Let's turn the one off on the CLA just so you guys can hear what these two are doing.
Been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They're setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16, just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class, I never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. Just chilling in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million. Been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16, just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class, I never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. Just chilling in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than be pushing the Benz.
So hopefully you guys caught that before and after at the end I just did there. Pretty big difference for what we did, a 10-20 minute mix, not too bad. And hopefully this helps you guys kind of figure out my process of mixing vocals. I would probably spend more time with that, but like I said, I don't want to sit here and bore you on the video. But that's kind of my process if I was to use just Waves plugins. And hopefully it helps you guys a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to get any of the presets I used on here, you can get them on my site. If you need me to mix and master your song, hit me up on my site as well. I'll see you guys soon.